Welcome to the Saturday Stat, Lou. What have you got for us? 10 index, I think we're talking today.
10 index from 90 yards in the fairway did an epic deep dive in the Arcos database. It's where I like to spend all my time, is deep diving in the Arcos database. So this is going to be a 10 index from 90 yards in the fairway, and there's 2 questions. We'll do them in 2 parts. And you write your answers down. Well, let's do it that way this time. Let's write them down so you don't say them out loud. And then you can hold them up so we can validate. So the first question is, what are the chances they get down in 2 shots from 90 yards in the fairway? 10 index players. Chances they get down in 2 shots.
Percentage chances, right?
Yeah, so just think of it, they're going to make a birdie.
But I'm going to hold up the camera. Have I got to write it backwards?
No,
Only if you're using a front-facing camera.
Yeah. He might be. He is.
Okay.
Write it backwards.
I'm going to say...
Okay. All right, next
shots.
question, part 2. What are the chances they get down in 4 or more shots?
We're talking percent answers, are we?
Yeah, percent answers. Yeah,
4
so what
or
percent of
more.
the time are they going to get down in 4 or more shots? And so that would be, making, a bogey or worse.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready? Final answers
I'm
completed?
not ready, but
No,
I've
I'm not
written 2
ready.
answers down.
I'm just thinking, and I'm going to run with...
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
go first.
I'm ready.
Well, I can
right,
just
so-
say mine because I haven't got an answer, because I don't want to reveal all my notes of the last podcast because there's lots of swear words on it.
Nice. Okay, you can tell us. What are
2
they?
shots, 7% chance of getting up and down from there.
Okay.
And 4 shots, 25% chance.
Okay.
So, Greg, hold up. You're the cheat.
You're not going to believe that. I wrote... Can you see that?
Can't see it. You gotta
No.
back
Oh,
it
that
up.
way. I got it the wrong way.
Hold
Hold
it
up
in
to
front
the
of the wrong.
He doesn't know where his camera is. Move it. Keep revealing 25 and 9. 25 and 9. So 9%
Wow.
and 25. So we're tuned
tied
in,
on the
Greg.
one.
We're tuned in.
Dude, it's
Yeah,
like...
those are good answers.
We're getting smarter. I feel like me and Greg are getting smarter every
I
Saturday.
think you are.
Let alone the listener.
Well, you only had one direction to go, both of
Yeah.
you, so this is easy, right? So the chances they get down in 2 shots is 6%. Mark, you were... It's a win.
Nice.
It's a win.
Yes. Cool, I was 1% off.
And the chances they
I've
get
won
down in...
because we said the same
Yeah.
on the next. So
Yeah,
we don't,
but
who
the
cares
chances
about
they
this
get
one?
down
I've
in-
won. This pod's over. See you next week. I'm a legend.
Legend. The chance they get down in 4 or more, 36%. So both of you had very good guesses. They were
Thank
they were
you.
reasonable. You've gotten a lot smarter from the early quizzes where you were just way off the mark. Now you're dialed in. I like it.
Was that? What was that? 6% and 35? Did you say
6 and 36.
36?
6 and
Oh
36.
my
yeah.
God, 36.
Yeah, 36%. More than 1 out of 3 times they get down, and they're making bogey or more. If you think of it like second shots on a par 4, if they got down to 90 yards, they're making bogey more than 1 out of 3 times.
So hit it
Bogey
on
or
3 putt
worse.
or miss the green and chip it on in 2 putt from there, or so it's basically...
Yeah, exactly.
All manner of options, haven't they got from there?
Yeah.
And that's in the fairway.
Correct.
And that's really, really frustrating too, because you've just hit this lovely shot. and
90
you've got
yards out.
90 yards left. It's like just sitting there saying, come on,
Yeah,
just do
Lovely.
this. And you're only
Yeah.
getting it done 6% of the time.
that's steaming out the car park at 80 mile an hour stuff. That
It is. And the other thing too with 10 index players is, remember, not all of these situations are going to be, I've hit my tee shot down to 90 yards. It's I've hit my tee shot into the woods. I've recovered
Hacked
to
out.
90 yards, and then I turn that into a disaster on top of already coming out of the trees sideways. And, the culprit, when you dig into this, surprise, surprise, the culprit here is going to be lots of huge, colossal mistakes where, they chunk the 90-yard shot and it only goes halfway there.
Well, they are too close at 90 yards, Lou, because
They
Twitter
are?
does tell me they want a full shot always. What are you
You want to
giggling
lay
at?
back to a full wedge?
Yeah. And
so
watch those numbers change.
those numbers will get worse if you lay back to a full wedge. But 90 yards for a 10 index is probably mostly
Full
a full
64, isn't it? Full 64.
wedge. You're going to float it in there, land it soft.
High
Yeah, it
fade.
makes the most sense.
Yeah.
So what could players do from 90 yards in the fairway to get better from the, how could they shift those numbers a little bit. I mean, I see players from 90 yards in the fairway. So we're talking wedge, in between wedge, and you could hit 2 or 3 of your wedges from there. They have one shot. They have, it's a flat out smash with a sand wedge, and it just pops up short right. I see that one over again. I would like to see players be able to hit that number with some options of clubs, because there'll be different, because 90 yards downwind, 90 yards into the wind, 90 yards green running away from you and a slope before the green is a 70-yard pitch running out, and 90 yards to a pin up a slope is 95 yards. You should be hitting that probably to 100. So you need more options, and that's one thing I see amateurs not have. They're 90 yards and they have one option, and that option often isn't a good one. I know, Greg, you're going to have a favoured option, but you're going to have choices from there, aren't you, as a good wedge player?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I think what I see a lot when I play in pro-ams and things like that is so many people, and we've talked about this in the past, that so many people set up to these shots like they're hitting a 5-iron.
Yeah, right? It's a 7-iron swing, isn't it?
They do. They put their body in a position. It's feet stance way too wide for the shot. You kind of want to go a little narrower. I tend to personally, I like a little more load on the lead side, so you can accentuate that sort of shaft lean that you want, so you can compress the ball. That's something that I like to see. And you put your body in position that you're telling it, I'm going to hit a softer shot or a smaller shot. And then I'd steer clear of, particularly, I don't really love full lob wedge. I'd never have, unless it's downwind. That's the only time.
You get so much deflection on that, on the strike. You can get any number of spins and launches. It's horrible.
Yeah, I'd really much prefer an off-speed sort of smoother option with a little less loft. It's easier to keep down. It's easier to compress and easier to control. Unless you're forced to, which is, if I have to hit this really close and it's over a bunker. Or,
you need it to stop and you're going to hit a flat out wedge.
Even then, that's a pretty high level shot, like for a lot of these.
I think Lou has that shot. Lou, don't you?
I used to love the days where I was just smashing lob wedge from 110. I'm not kidding you. I would just smash it from 110. And those were fun. When you pulled it off, man, those were the best. Those were the best.
Yeah.
For me, I saw a lot of improvement with my wedge work, and I've talked about this in the past when I worked on flighting it down, when I worked on, controlling the window that it was coming out. And a lot 100%. Of my amateur friends, they hit these shots extremely high. And one thing that I think us amateurs always comment on when we go see professionals in person is how low they're hitting their wedges compared to what a lot of us do.
Yeah.
And I think, working on that and learning how to flight it down a little bit is going to improve the way you're delivering that club in that situation. And it's going to help you be a little bit more consistent. I know it improved my play a lot. And so I would encourage you to give that a shot, if you're not already working on that.
Totally. And I think really low hanging fruit here, with my experience of coaching over many years, is people just don't want a lesson on this. They don't want to waste the time that they have with you on this aspect of the game. They'll bung it in. Like, you got 10 minutes left and they're hitting some good shots. And they say, can we look at a few wedges? And I think in 10 minutes, I can look at a few, but getting you to change anything, it's not going to be in the 7 minutes I've got to articulate what I might have seen in the 3 minutes of you hitting some. So, anyone listening to this pod, just put your hands up mentally in your head. How many of you have dedicated any time with a professional to improve this area? I bet you it's less than the 6% who are taking 2 shots.
Yeah, I gotta tell you about one of the, so you're both a fan of your wedges flighted down a little bit from this distance. And the one thing that the drill that worked really well for me when I was, trying to go from launching it sky high to flighting it down was when I was hitting these wedges from these distances, even, 50-yard wedge shots. I am a right-handed player, and I was taking the ball and I was moving the ball, almost to the front of my lead foot, and hitting shots from there. And that for me, when I look at some of the before and after, not only ball flight, the way I delivered the club, but looked at video, that got me, the more forward shaft lean. That allowed me to deliver the club a little bit better to the ball. And, my body had to adjust and adapt by, trying to still make contact when the ball was so far ahead in my stance.
Yeah.
I really love doing that. I don't know, if it would work for you, or if you would prescribe that to other players, Mark.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I'd prescribe anything that works. If you've got something that's worked for you, it could easily not work for someone else and easily work. I post drills sometimes. We joked about it earlier, or I think off camera. People say this drill doesn't work. I think, all right, I'll just message the 500 people I can think of off the top of my head who it did work on and tell them, hi, John, and everyone else, just to let you know you're not a better player now because someone told me this drill don't work. Like, how can you say that?
Yeah.
They did the drill and they got better. Like, their handicaps came down. So with any drill, I think you've just got to try it. But I personally think I just go and spend an hour or buy 4 lessons and do them all around 190 yards, 50 yards. Everyone wants to hit driver. Everyone wants to hit iron. And they're really important and do have lessons on that. But this part of the game, whenever you do it with students, because they're so uneducated in a lesson kind of environment in this part of the game, it's easy, cheap wins just over and over again. Literally, when I get a range of students who are hitting driver, like, you have to grind to find the wins for them. Some of them it's cheap, some of them it's really hard because they've had lessons, they've tried everything, they've watched the videos. You get them pitching and even chipping. Honestly, it's so easy to teach them because they're clueless. And I don't mean that rudely. I mean, because they've not taken that any of the time to educate themselves in, supination, pronation, that they know, laying shafts down, that they know all in the full swing, and then the wedge play, they just don't know what they're doing. So spending some time in here would shift those numbers, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
Good one, Lou. Thanks, Greg, as always. That was the Saturday Stats. If there's anything you want us to cover in the Saturday Stat, just hit us up on our social channels. If you like the Saturday Stat and any of the other podcasts, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Helps us out, helps you out, because we're here to help you play better golf. Thanks for listening, and we'll speak to you soon.